they're not. Maybe they have preference for colder temperatures than the parents. I showed you the data. That's not true either. We have no explanation for any of these questions whatsoever. I mean, you can invoke maybe sex-specific lethals that operate at high altitude. We've run out of NIH money. In fact, you can't use NIH money, if I mean scared, to do this kind of field work. We have these retention funds. So we're not going to be able to answer these questions. We have no answer. We submitted the paper to evolution and it was rejected because they said, well, you didn't answer the questions. I said, well, you know, it takes 20 years. Maybe you just put it out there and somebody else can do it. So that's it. So I'm going to wind up now. I'm already a couple minutes over. The conclusions of the study, first of all, that these are even early in speciation, 400,000 years, which is relatively young, there are many, many reproductive barriers that separate these species. Anything that can go wrong, sexual isolation, constitution of sperm presence, sterility, ecological differences, they've all evolved in this relatively short period of time. The species are well-separated genetic entities. There's not much integration between them at all, except in one region, which is the mitochondrial DNA. So here's my lesson for the Society for the Study of Evolution. Do not use mitochondrial DNAs to make photoelectrics. I know it's easy to get, it's cheap, you get a lot of it, but you're going to go wrong a lot of times, particularly because it moves between species interfaces. There is no reinforcement for sexual isolation, but there is for post-mating pre-zygotic isolation, so we have this weird form of reinforcement that evolves in nature but not in the laboratory. The genetics I've already told you about. The species are adaptively divergent in temperature preference and tolerance. They do have ecological differences, which are right for work. And then we have this weird phenomenon of a hybrid zone altitude, which we have no explanation for. All we can do is hypothesize and wave our hands about, well, maybe sexual isolation is different in nature from what it is in the laboratory in a way that we don't understand, and that maybe the viability of these flies is different in nature from what it is in the laboratory. I mean, that's completely possible, but if you work in the lab, you tend to assume that what you see there is what goes on in nature, and I guess the big lesson of this study is it ain't necessarily so. So I want to thank the people that are responsible for all this work. I'm sorry you can't see them so well. Our team of crack guys, including Lucio, his brother, and his friend July. There's Anna Yopart, who did a lot of molecular work, but also she may be the only molecular biologist, molecular evolutionist to actually do field work at high altitudes. Daniel Lachez, our friend who discovered these flies, and has helped us a lot. A lot of people in the lab, too many to name, plus our cat, which I don't think you can see there. Daniel Matute has done the lion's share, in fact, almost all the work on reinforcement. Here he is sleeping under Darwin. My collaborator in the QTM mapping, Trudy McKay in North Carolina State University, who has yet to come through with the final data. And if any students or her are here, tell her to get off the butt and sit down. Because it's been 3 years now. And from it, as always, I dedicate this talk to my colleague Daniel Lachez, who, without him, we would not be making these trips to Africa. He had a terrible heart condition. He knew it was going to kill him to go to the field and climb these mountains, but he loved his flies in the field so much that he kept doing it, and sure enough, it did it prematurely, and we really miss him. So, and also thanks to the organizer of this symposium that have given us a chance to give this talk. All right, so thanks very much. And I think there's a meeting, Judy, is that right?
For members of SSE, if they want to stay around, it's a member meeting.
Okay, so if you're the Constitution of the SSE says that we should meet with all the membership once a year, so you guys can ask questions and stuff. I guess Which is here, right?
Yeah.
Fortunately.
I have student travel awards.
Okay, see what I'm doing. Okay, so Bush has the student travel awards. If you're a student that got travel awards, come up at the end of this. I guess you'll have to listen to us, but by law, we're obligated to take your questions. I don't know a lot about this. It's sort of in our position, but both Judy and Whit know a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll be here to answer your questions.
That was great.
That was great.
Sure.
That was great.
You're the principal.
Let's go.
You gonna put this on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm gonna try.